Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are, past or present. It is Cardfight Empire here today, bringing you another Future Fight video. So we're still playing catch up, but we're gonna catch up quite fast now that there's not that many things going on, like regionals and stuff like that. If you guys are going to the New Jersey regionals, I will probably see you there, most likely. Um, and also just things I was mentioning before, my Patreon. I will be releasing my videos like a week ahead for people that do that. So as soon as that happens, like all my videos will be a week back for all the regular people. So just be wary of that. Um, but yeah, let's get right to the deck that we were playing today. So the deck that we are future fighting today is Gaia, actually. Um, so let's look at the deck build that I used. Alright, so starting with our main ride target, we have the old Gaia Emperor Dragon. It has Engorge, and if it's engorged itself, then it gets plus 5,000 power and a critical. You don't really use those two abilities, like you don't really engorge it by itself a lot because you always want to be striding. But should you have to come to a really rough turn where you cannot stride, I guess it's semi-useful. I feel like 16k with the crit is like nothing. So like your opponent can probably always block that with 3 cards, or 2 cards. They can no pass it um, if the 2 cards are 10ks or a PG. So the main useful part of this card is its on stride ability. When you stride, you get to choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to separate rearguard circles, and then you choose 2 of your rearguards, and until the end of the turn, they get an ability that says when they're placed from drop zone to rearguard circle, you can call them back to rearguard circle. So this makes your turns really useful when you're doing stuff like Gluttony Dogma, because you retire your whole field of 5, and then you can call 2 units back. So you can call like a column back, or you can call 2 attackers back, and it's just very great. So we have 2 of the new Gaia, which is Frenzy Emperor Dragon Gaia Death Parade. This Gaia is not as great to ride in my opinion, but it's still better than our other options because you still want to have a Gaia Vanguard. So its GV2 is if it's engorged, it gets 5,000 power, and then if it's the Vanguard, it gets a critical, so it's pretty much the same exact GV2 as the older Gaia, except it now works on rearguard circle, but you can't get a crit. And then it has an on-stride ability that says when your Vanguard becomes engorged, you can counterbalance 1 draw a card. So I don't think that stride skill is worth using really, unless you have to get advantage, but you know, it is what it is. So we're actually playing like a kind of special version where we include ancient dragons as well. So we are playing 2 ancient dragon Tyranno Legend to synchronize with the fact that we use Baby Rex. Tyranno Legend has really nothing skill-wise that you need to use except for early game getting that rush with Tyranno Legend and being 11k. Then we have 4 of the new card, Gigant Flame. It is a Gaia grade 2 that's 11k, so you get to be on 11k defense for a turn. However, it is kind of like has a restraint type skill on it, where if you don't have any other engorged units or a Gaia Vanguard, this unit cannot attack a Vanguard. Now sometimes this is not a problem because you ride it, you attack a rearguard if your opponent has one in the front row. However, if you would like to attack Vanguard with it, you will have to engorge one of your units, so be wary of that. Also, you cannot engorge itself and have it attack a Vanguard because it needs another engorge unit. So you're better off just playing it on rearguard circle than playing another card to the side, another card to the side, and then attacking with this card, engorging, destroying this card, and then attacking with your Vanguard. So then we have 4 Tank Mammoth. It is A widely used card in Gaia decks, the ones I've seen at least. You counterblast one, soul blast one, and then you can call it back when it's destroyed. And then it gains 3,000 power, so it becomes 11k attacker when it comes back. So it's a very useful card. We have 3 Explosive Dragon Sarco Blaze, so this is another one of our Engorge cards. But if you engorge with this, it becomes a Silent Tom type thing. So it's not bad. It's not amazing. Sometimes it can close out a game for you depending on how much power it has and triggers and what your opponent's hand looks like. But I don't think it's especially like amazing or anything. It's just a good card. So then we have 4 Cold Dragon Freezer Nicks. This card's very important for keeping your soul up and your counterblast up, so or your damage flipped up, I should say. So when this card's put into the drop zone from Rearguard Circle, you can countercharge 1, soul charge 1, and then you give another unit 2k, and then if you give it an ability like the original Gaia ability, it'll just bring itself back, so you can use the skill again. So it's a really good card. We have 4 Strive Fodders, Prism Birds, pretty self-explanatory. 4 Unflip PGs, Savage Guardian, pretty self-explanatory. And then we ran 2 Sonic Noah. Now, the whole reason that we ran Sonic Noah is that I didn't really think that there was another grade 1 option. And also, sometimes when you ride this, being on an 8k while your opponent's on a 7k or 6k means that you can 10k no pass and you can avoid taking some of that early damage. So this combos well with if you ride Noah and then you ride Gigant Flame. Sometimes you cannot take damage, especially if you go first. Sometimes you cannot take damage until you're actually at grade 3, which means that when your opponent strides on you, you'll be able to take a lot more punishment. We play Baby Rex as the starter. So Baby Rex says that when it's placed into the drop zone from Rearguard Circle, basically when it's retired, you counterblast 1, and then you can call a Tyranno Legend to the Rearguard Circle. So any of your, like none of the Engorge skills are Generation Break. So when you do Engorge and you destroy Baby Rex, you can just for free, or for counterblast 1, call a Tyranno Legend. So it gives you an extra attack in the early turns, and it can't be really beat up by your opponent's like low level rearguards that early, because it's 11k. We have 8 critical. We play 4 Dino Dial. It's a you put into the soul and unflip damage. And we have 4 Paris launchers, basically the Gaia soul charge crit. We have 4 Carry Tribolite. It is our draw trigger, just vanilla draw trigger, and vanilla heal Savage Healer. I really like the name of this card because Savage. Moving on to the G zone, we have 4 Glenny Dogma, aka the best 3-stander in the game, in my opinion. So the reason why this card is one of the best 3-standers in the game, to me, is because you always plus when you do it. Which, in my opinion, is just so good, because if you're on original Gaia, you can counterblast 1 and give 2 of your units the when they're killed, bring them back skill. And if you also have a tank mammoth on the field, then it can bring itself back too, so you don't even have to give the skill to tank mammoth. You just give it to, like, let's say you have a tank mammoth, Sarco Blaze, and a Freezer Nix on the field. You can give Freezer Nix and Sarco Blaze the skill, and then Freezer Nix will also fuel tank mammoth, so that's really good. And then you can just call back a board, like literally every time. You can even attack with tank mammoth, and then your other rearguard column, and then Dogma, and then retire your whole board, and then bring back tank mammoth and Sarco Blaze and Freezer Nix. And then you can attack with tank mammoth again, then attack with Dogma again, engorge, destroy tank mammoth, bring it back, and then you have so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks, and they're like actually really good attacks. So it's very good. It also gets drive my It also gets a drive -2 instead of drive -1, which is very, very helpful. And it just makes it overall a very, very good card. Yeah, so it makes it a very, very good card. Moving on in the G zone, we have 4 Gaia Dynast. This is the newer stride. Um, so it actually does have Engorge, and it has Generation Break 3 skill, and then a regular skill for just being engorged. So the Generation Break 3 skill is when this unit retires one of your rear guards, you can counterboss 1 and call that card back. And then that unit and this unit get 3k power, so that's pretty decent. But it's the second skill that's actually really, really good. So when this card becomes engorged, you can flip a guy in a dice in your G zone, and then you can choose one of your rear guards, and you retire all the rear guards on the same column as that unit, meaning your units and your opponent's units. So if your opponent has a really annoying column set up on the board, or some, you know, rear guard that you don't really want to deal with, that here comes your destruction with a guy in a dice. And it also fuels itself by countercharging 1. So you can also bring back your unit by counterbossing 1. But then before that, you've got to countercharge 1. So it's basically free. It's really good. So then we have 2 Destruction Tyrant, Grado Gigant. So it has Engorge. It's pretty basic G unit. So when this card becomes Engorged, it gains 5,000 power for each unit retired. So it kind of reminds me of Scourge Point in a way, if you guys know what Scourge Point is from Gold Paladin, because it's just super huge in the early game. So basically, you always want to retire 3 with Grado Giant so that you can draw a card off of its ability. But when you retire 3, it gets plus 15k. So it will always be swinging for like 41 or like 48 with a booster or something like that. Then we have 2 Hammer Gawalt. Now I chose not to play Sabreeze in this build because we really like our Counterblast, but you can run 1 Hammer Gawalt and 1 Sabreeze. So that can also be a thing you would like to do. But Hammer Gawalt, when it becomes engorged, it gains 3,000 power first of all, and then if you retire 2 units with the Engorge ability, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. So it's pretty good for that. If you attack with your rear guards first, your opponent might just choose to intercept, which is why I don't think that Hammer Gawalt is as good as a first stride as Grado Giant, because he requires no interaction from your opponent really. So, you know, that's that. I wish that it could destroy more than a front row rear guard, but I guess that would be too good. So then you have the 2 of the new G-Guard, Blockade Ganga. So Blockade Ganga, I'm not really sure based on how the skill is worded, if you can do the second skill first, or if you have to do the first part of the ability first. So it's basically when it's placed on Guardian Circle, you can choose a rear guard and retire it. And then if you do, it gets plus 10,000 shield, so it's a 36k defense. And then you get to choose up to 2 of your rear guards, and they get, when this unit's retired, return it to your hand. So you can actually give it to 2 grade 2s and intercept with them, and when they will go to the drop zone from intercepting, you just add them to your hand instead. The reason why I said that it would be very useful if you could choose up to 2 of your rear guards first, and they gain the ability, and then retire using Ganga skill, and then when you use Ganga skill, the card that you retire just bounces back to hand. That would be very useful. So then we have 2 Demor Phalanx. If the number of your rear guards is less than or equal to the number of your opponent's rear guards, then this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. Pretty basic 31 shield defense. So moving on, we are going to be going into the matches now. Let's reopen area here. So our first game is against Shadow Paladin. Looks like ritual based off of just saying root, and we do not have a grade 1 in our hand, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so our opponent goes first. They ride, and we do not draw a grade 1, so we actually end up G-assisting here. We go into Freezer Nix, and then we're just going to get rid of the draw trigger and the crit trigger in our hand, because we would like to keep the other one, and we got rid of 2 Dogma. Because if the game draws out, I would rather use the other, I would rather use Dynast. Looking back, I could have gotten rid of 2 Hammer Gwalts, but usually when I G-assist, I get rid of 2 of the late game strides, because you're probably not going to make it to late game, because the game's not going to be that much longer. So here we put down Sarco Blaze, we're engorging, so we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, I should say, because we get to call a Tyranno Legend, and also Gigant Flame can attack their Vanguard. So he 1 passes us, we do get it, and then I attack him 11. So, you know, the early rush in this deck is very, very good. I'm not sure why he was playing these. It looks like he's kind of playing the trial deck or something. I'm not sure. But he does attack our Vanguard and get Twin Drive, and then he gets a heal and a stand trigger. We just get a heal, so you can't actually attack our Vanguard because we're 11. And then he does attack our Vanguard the second time with the 22. We do ride Old Gaia, and we stride into Hammer Gwalt because we didn't have. I basically would have used. I would have used Grado Giant, but we didn't have 3 Rearguards that we actually wanted to destroy because I didn't want to place Gigant Flame from my hand or the PG. So we attack 11, and then we retire 2, and they call themselves back, and we retire his front row, and it's 29 to the Vanguard. He does no guard us here, so we check 3 non-triggers, which is unfortunate because I really wanted Sarco Blaze to be able to attack, because I would have forced a G-guard out of him. So he does just choose to attack us for 16 here because he can't stride, so I'm not exactly sure. Oh, okay, I hadn't said no guard yet, and he started drive checking. So I take a damage, and he attacks my rear guard, so we're fine with that. It's just Sarco Blaze. I couldn't really attack him anyways. So we do stride into Glenny Dogma, and use Gaia's Skill to counter boss 1, and call these to the board. And then those 2 get to bring themselves back. I should have actually placed it on Prism Bird, the 7k, because Tank Mammoth can bring itself back, but this way we don't have to waste a counter boss and a soul boss to bring back our attackers. So attacks 11. So now we're using Glenny Dogma still, and we bring back 2 of these. We check 3, and we do check the critical trigger, placing all of the power to our rearguards. So I think Engorge lasts for the rest of the turn, so when we do attack his Vanguard with Glenny Dogma, it counts for Gigant Flame, but also we have the Gaia Vanguard, so we don't have to really worry about that. He ends up no guarding, and yeah, we end up taking that game. It might have been different, I guess, if he had actually been able to stride the second time, but I guess it evens out because he couldn't stride 1 time and I had a G-assist, so it is what it is. Moving on to our next match. We're playing against Murakumo. So we do actually start with the grade 1, 2, and the 3 that we would like to ride in this game, so that's good. Seems like we're playing in Shadow Stitch, Yasui, so we attack. We do check Noah. I wish I would have had that earlier to ride it, but I guess it wouldn't have mattered in this case because he went first. So we are able to play these and then play Noah. And this is another reason that Noah becomes useful, because Gigant Flame, um, Gigant Flame boosted by Noah is 19, so when your opponent's on grade 2, it creates a 15k to block. So he does take a damage from not being able to guard with zeros here. And then we attack his Vanguard with the 11k. Also, when I engorged, I got rid of the starter and called Tyranno Legend behind Sarco Blaze because I did it on just intercepting to sack it off. I do attack his Vanguard and I'm waiting for his response. And he 10k no pass, and then I could check a crit trigger, put it on my rear guard, and obviously he's not going to block this, I don't think, because he would have to guard with 20k. So my opponent's at 4 damage, which is really good for us. He attacks 9, and I don't know why I guarded. I should have just let it go, but I guess I wasn't thinking about it. He does check a stand trigger, and he attacks Gigant Flame, and we would actually rather keep that. So we still could have intercepted with Sarco Blaze, I guess. So we actually can't stride, so we're just attacking him normally. He does PG us here. I do think if we were able to stride, we might have been able to like end the game. So that would have been something. So he does stride first into Yasui Goma, and then he uses the on-stride ability to call one of the new Yasui to rearguard circle, and then he's using Goma skill to call a Goma to the rearguard circle, and he Soul Blast 1 so that Yashabayashi can attack from the back row. Or, sorry, so that it gets 2,000 power. It can attack from the back row naturally. So we guard his first attack with a 5. He uses Shadow Stitch to draw a card, and then put a card to the bottom of his deck. And then he attacks us for 31. We no guard. He checks a grade 3, a stride fodder, and a heal trigger, which is, you know, unfortunate for us, as we did not want him to heal. But he does attack us 11, we guard, and he Shadow Stitches. And we could have G-guarded here, but I didn't want to because I wanted to save cards in my hand, especially if we're going to have to use 2 cards of stride. So we do end up using 2 cards of stride, and we go into Grado Giant. We use Gaia's on stride skill to counter boss 1. And choose Tyranno Legend and Gigant Flame to bring back. So then we attack 11, and we attack 19, engorging and bringing that back. And then we attack 11 again, so we're going for the multi-attack here. Then we do attack with Grado Giant, retiring 3. And Flame will bring itself back, and also Tank Mammoth will bring itself back. So this is like a really good multi-attack combo. So he chooses to no guard because he realizes that he won't be able to survive the multi-attacks. Especially because, yeah, he does 6 damage heal here, and we can't hit him anymore. So that's unfortunate for us. But he is able to stride, and he goes into Shibaraku Buster. So he counter boss 1 to bring a new Yasui to the board, and then he uses Shibaraku Buster here, I'm pretty sure. Counter boss 1. So it's really like kind of upsetting to me because we had like the perfect like attack combo turn, and he just healed out of it. So you know, it is unfortunate for us, but again, it is what it is. So, he didn't actually pay the cost for Shibaraku Buster. Um, which I'm wondering if that's because he didn't have enough soul. Um, but I can't really check. Yeah, he says he has no soul to pay cost, so basically he misplayed by going into Shibaraku Buster. So he does attack me with 15. I do take it just so I can get an extra damage. Um, he does attack me for 36 normally and draws a card. And then I PG, and he checks a grade 3, a grade 1, and a grade 2. So we're like in a perfect situation to finish him off. I do guard with a 5k. And then he uses the Shadow Stitch to draw a card, drop a card. And I think that he was also supposed to move this Yasui to his hand, but he didn't. But I don't think it would change much because he doesn't have a PG in his hand. So we do use Gaia skill on... I guess in my opinion we should have used it on... Yeah, so we do use it on Gigant Flame and Sonic Noah. Like I would have done, because it is me playing, I guess. So we should have used the Dino Dial and played the Gaia Emperor grade 3 from our hand, so we would have had an extra counter blast. So we do counter blast Soul Blast when it's engorged, and then we do attack 11, and then we do attack with our Vanguard and bring back Gigant Flame and Noah. And he G-Guardians into Shizuzuki. So this is 15 plus 15, 31. This is a 2 to pass, I believe. Yeah, so he checks the heal trigger. We do heal, and we give the power to our rear guard, and we check 2 more, and then it restands, and then we attack for 36, which he can't guard this one, so we do check a crit, and we do end up finishing out the game this time, even though that we would have finished out the game the first time had he not 6 damage healed. So, as you guys can see so far, this deck is like a very aggressive deck, especially the way that I built it. You want to get in a lot of early game attacks, so much so that your opponent's at like 4 or 5 damage before you guys even get to stride turns, which is really beneficial to you. Moving into the last game of the video, we are playing against Royal Paladin, Alt Mile. So, I actually do go first. I have to write a PG, and I don't have a grade 3 in my hand. I have a bunch of triggers, which is unfortunate. It says 16, but that's just 12, but I do no guard it anyways. He does check a crit trigger. We take 2 damage. Those are some grade 2s that we would have preferred to have. So we attack him for 13, he no guards, and I check a grade 1. We hit one of his power charges, which in that deck is very good to hit, but he does draw a power charge, as I see here. So I don't think that we hindered him any. So then we do no guard again. He doesn't check a trigger, thank goodness, but we check a grade 3. Here we're just gonna stay on grade 2 and attack him. And he can 10k no pass us, but he does no guard. We do get another grade 2, and we do hit another power charge. So I wonder how many he runs, because in my build I only ran 2. But he does stand and draw and just attack us, and we do no guard, and he checks a crit and a heal. So we're at like an extreme disadvantage this game. So we do draw grade 3, and we are able to stride, which is, you know, better than the other option, but I do wish that we would have drawn old Gaia, so that we could have gotten some of our attacks well underway. So we do Engorge using Baby Rex and able to call a Tyranno Legend. And then we attack for 11 to his Vanguard. And he takes the damage being a PG. And then we Engorge doing 3. And we do counter boss 1 for being engorged. And then we do counter boss soul charge. So we do double heal here and get a draw trigger. So some could say we're back in the game from that. So that was pretty exciting. I thought the game was over for sure. But, you know, never give up in Vanguard, right? But he does call a Twin Sword. He's using Fides now. He does call Albion. He did draw a card, which he wasn't supposed to, but I guess I wasn't paying attention because he didn't notice that the card you call has to be Brave. But he does attack 26, and we do no guard again. Because we want to be able to take as much punishment as possible. He checks 2 Knight of Twin Swords and a crit trigger. Fortunately, we do not get a damage trigger there, but he is attacking with Albion, and I'm asking him if he would like to use skill or not, and he is using skill to call Salim. I do guard, and then I do G-guard here into the 31k defensive G-guard. He does add these cards back to his hand, and I'm not really sure why he put Albion back to his hand. Oh, he did it because of Stius, because I asked him. I'm pretty sure. I remember that. Yeah, I asked him how the grade 2 returned to his hand, and he said Stius, which I wasn't really paying attention to, but yeah. So I draw, and then I stride. Now I was going to stride with the grade 3, but I want an actual attacker to go along with this Glenny Dogma turn. And Glenny Dogma turn, honestly, while you're not on old Gaia, is so dissatisfying. Like, you'd just rather be on old Gaia at all times, so that you can really bring the pain. I wish they made the on stride skill for new Gaia kind of like old Gaia, where you at least get to bring back 1 or something. But we do attack 12 to his Vanguard. And then we do attack for 19. And then we do attack for 36, getting rid of our entire board. We do soul charge 1 from the grade 1. And then he does PG us here. We check a crit, a Sonic Noah, and a old Gaia Emperor. Or sorry, we drew the crit, and then we did check a crit, so it's the same thing as I was talking about. But he does double G-guard us here for 2, and we sadly do not get the 2 to pass. So we pass turn. We still don't have a PG, which is probably very dangerous at this stage of the game. Which is kind of unbelievable, actually, because we don't have any PGs in the damage or in the drop zone, and okay, so one of the cards we soul charged was a PG. So we do have 2 PGs in our deck, but 2 PGs in our soul as well, so that random soul charge kind of screwed us. But I believe it is mandatory. Yeah, it is mandatory, so, you know, it is what it is. So Knight of Twin Sword attacks us for 14. We get attacked for 29. which I wish that we had a rear guard here. This is part of the reason why old Gaia is so good, because we would have had a rear guard for the new G guard, but instead we have to guard for 2 to pass. He does check a critical, and he puts all Vanguard, and then he checks the critical again, and then he checks a heal, and all Vanguard. So that was the end of that game. But yeah, that has been the end of the FutureFight for Gaia. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something or took something away from this that will help you in your matches in the future. And yeah, check out all the stuff in the description down below. As usual, Patreon, Facebook, all the cool stores down there, Wasteland Gaming, Win Condition, ARG. And like I said before in the video, if you guys are going to be at New Jersey, I'll see you there. So we're kind of doing like a countdown to New Jersey right now. But without further ado, this has been Cardfight Empire, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.